You're tuned into All2ReelToo. Be sure to subscribe, download, share the show with a friend, and stop by All2ReelToo.com for our social links, Patreon, and TeePublic store info.
Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Fergal.
And we're from Movie Smash.
Comic book movies are having a golden age right now with the MCU.
Movies based on comics aren't necessarily a new thing, but they're a big thing.
Join us every other Tuesday on Movie Smash.
We explore these movies and find some hidden gems.
Every other week, we revisit some of the best.
And some of the worst movies based on comics or graphic novels.
Was Green Lantern as bad as you remember?
Heck no!
Is Time Cop the most accurate time travel movie ever created?
Absolutely.
Was Mystery Men way ahead of its time?
Should they be revisited? Should they be forgotten?
Join us on Movie Smash and find out. Listen wherever you find your fine podcasts.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All2ReelToo. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame, Barry, she's your teacher in Carta.
That she is. She's definitely his teacher. I mean, she was beautiful and everything, but still...
Very, very, very attractive teacher. You know, you don't really get that anymore. Like a woman who... I don't know how to say, a woman who looks like a woman. I don't know. Like, you know, like back in the day, like a middle-aged woman actually looked like a middle-aged woman. I wouldn't say she was middle-aged, but like now,
yeah,
everyone's made to look younger than they really are. So it's just like kind of like a breath of fresh air to be like, oh yeah, like that's how like a woman like actually looks like, you know. But anyway, you're not with it.
You nowadays you get like then 20-something Jennifer Lawrence playing somebody in their 30s or something,
right?
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like a breath of fresh air, like, oh, this actually looks like kind of like reality. By the way, when I was singing along with you or talking along with you, I think I did a pretty good job saying that alongside of you, if you get my drift.
Like a sidekick.
Yes, like a sidekick.
We're both sidekicks because this is both our show.
That's true. So we're both.
Yes. I mean, when I thought about this movie and then I found it and I was like, hey, is this movie like about Ed McMahon and Andy Richter? But no, it's not. No. Today on the show, we are covering the 1992 film Sidekicks. The Internet Movie Database short synopsis for this is: a bullied teen who fantasizes about being Chuck Norris's sidekick trains in martial arts to fulfill his dreams.
And what dreams are those exactly? They're not really fleshed out, are they, in the movie?
No, they're basically just him in parodies of Chuck Norris movies.
I mean, that's like his dreams is to just be a sidekick to an action hero, but like only within the movies, because he knows that they're movies. So then his dream is to then be inside of a movie and then be Chuck Norris's sidekick in a movie. I don't really understand. I'm
not sure either.
The through line here.
It's not called sidekick. It's called sidekicks. So
true.
Who's another sidekick? I'm confused.
So I was thinking that
it just kicks, like they're it's a play on words because they're kicking and they're
kicking, but also because if you notice too later, like as the movie progresses, if you notice this, that Barry starts becoming more independent, even in his own daydreams.
Yeah,
that he's not like always relying on Chuck all the time. Like at one point, finally, he has an age-appropriate, fantasy of girl being tied up and whatever. That's his own friend instead of his teacher. So I guess that's a win for normalcy here in Barry's mental world. But
anyways, this movie is directed by Aaron Norris.
Yep.
Chuck Norris's brother. Yep. Aaron has, according to IMDb, he's known for, wow, the weather's getting pretty bad out here, and where
I heard that wind.
Yeah, nice little thunder.
Yeah,
I think they just didn't want me talking about Aaron Norris. That's
exactly.
Like, telling me I'm supposed to talk about him. He directed Braddock Missing in Action 3, starring his brother, a movie called Platoon Leader, Delta Force 2, The Hitman, starring his brother, and then he directed this. And then after that, he directed a movie called Good Cop, Bad Cop, a direct-to-video thing that looks like it's like a martial arts video called Chuck Norris Private Lesson.
That almost sounds like highly pornographic. That's what it is.
But he directed Hellbound. He directed Top Dog, starring Chuck Norris. It's like everything he's does is like Chuck Norris related, and then he does Forest Warrior and Walker Texas Ranger and Walker Texas Ranger TV movie Trial by Fire. Yeah.
So basically, he's like the Rob Schneider of the Norris family, where without Chuck, he would basically not have a career.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is funny because Rob Schneider's brother actually at one point owned National Lampoon. So
there you go. Okay.
It has nothing to do with anything at all, but
no, but it is interesting. Yes.
So this was written by Lou Ilar, who wrote this.
Okay.
That's
sure.
It. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And Galen Thompson, who as far as writing goes, he wrote Forest Warrior starring Chuck Norris. Some Walker Texas Ranger episodes. He wrote a Walker Texas Ranger movie. He wrote Hellbound starring Chuck Norris, The Hitman starring Chuck Norris. Yeah, among other things. He did write some things that look like they're not Chuck Norris related. He was also an actor as well. So,
okay.
So that's who we got on the creative side here. As far as the actors go in this movie, we've got Chuck Norris as Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
We've got Beau Bridges as Jerry Gabrewski. Jonathan Brandis as Barry Gabrewski. Mako is Mr. Lee. Julia Nixon as Julia Nixon Soul at the time, because she was married to David Soul at the time. As Noreen Chan, we've got Joe Piscopo as Kelly Stone, Danica McKellar as Lauren, John Buchanan as Randy Cellini, Richard Mole as Horn, and Garrett Graham as Mapes, among other people that will remain nameless right now. Yes, the stars, 3 people that are sadly no longer with us. We got Chuck Norris, Jonathan Brandis, and Mako. So, yeah. And Jonathan Brandis, especially in this movie, looks just like my nephew Steven, and it's weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
He reminds me of someone, too. I don't know. I think maybe because I used to watch this movie like a ton when I was a kid. And like a lot of stuff is like coming back to me, like memories-wise. I probably haven't watched this movie since like 1994 or whatever. So,
yeah.
But like, he looks so familiar. Like, I know he's been on his stuff, but just like something about him, there's like, I don't know, it's weird. But yeah, I know he was in like Never Ending Story 2 and the Sequest show and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then
when he died in 2003, I forgot how. I don't remember what.
He sadly took his life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was, I guess, not really getting roles that he wanted. He had gotten like, from what I read, he was in there was a Hearts War, which was he did do other things after that, but he was supposed to be in this Hearts War, which was supposed to be like this huge like action war film with Bruce Willis. All of his scenes were deleted from the movie.
Oh, man.
And that kind of just was one of the things. I'm sure there was lots going on, but like not really living up to the potential that he really wanted. I mean, he also starred in the It miniseries back in the 90s too.
I read that, yeah.
He was in Outside Providence, which is a good movie. if you haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just a sad loss of a great talent there.
Mhm.
It's hard to believe it's been like 20 years since he died.
I know.
Because I mean, I'm sure that if he somehow would have been able like to get back out there, he would have probably done a lot of really good work.
Yeah.
Or not, if he didn't want to, it's whatever. But yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, also Richard Mole is in this movie and he passed away. So yeah, it's just like what the
Yeah.
Yeah. Just looking at the cast and everything, it's like all these people that died within the last 20 years are in this movie.
Yeah. Unfortunately, one of the survivors is right wing.
Is good old Joe Piscopo.
I guess he was not even acting; he was just playing himself in this movie because he acts a complete asshole. So it's like,
I'll tell you, it was really interesting. I'm pretty sure he was on like steroids and shit. But
probably, yeah.
Yeah, but I always remember, like, I knew Joe Piscopo from Saturday Night Live prior to this when I was a kid, and he was like kind of not like built or whatever. But I will tell you, I mean, I'm not trying to sound, like I'm attracted to him, but he had a nice body in this movie. It's just like, what the heck,
Well, he got in. I read it. He did get into bodybuilding at one point.
Yeah,
like,
it's just interesting. Yeah, yeah, but now he is a right wing radio host.
Yep. He's also in the band. He played at one of Mike Lindell's events, so that's cool.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Why not?
And he campaigned for Trump in 2016, and he thought of running for governor for New Jersey in 2017. So great guy. Yeah,
but he was funny.
Okay, he was very cartoonishly evil, but
no, I'm not saying in this movie. I'm just saying in Saturday Night Live he was.
Oh, okay, I got you.
And at the time of this movie, though, he was Democrat.
Yeah, but maybe secretly he went.
According to Wikipedia, his political party was Democrat.
I don't even really care about that stuff. I just care if you feel like. Well, but the problem is that most of these guys who hang out with Mike Lindell and Trump.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
they're not great guys.
I agree, but it's like, and I think that he is definitely not a great person necessarily now, and his views at least, but I won't hold that against the fact that he's actually was kind of funny. In certain things,
he was pretty funny. He was way over the top.
I think he's the weakest link in this movie, though.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to make him like John Priest, but like he was not intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, this whole movie. First off, what did you think of the movie?
I don't really know. I mean, this is one of those movies that I used to watch all the time when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I probably watched this movie like at least 20 or 30 times, like in 1993 to like 94. Like it's funny. I remember there's a scene in the movie where he's watching a Chuck Norris film and he's kind of like dozing off. I remember a time specifically where we were renovating our house, and for like a month, 2 months or so, my brother and I had to have our bunk beds like literally like in the kitchen, which is very odd, like sleeping inside.
Yeah.
Like, but the TV was like kind of like in the other room, and you could sort of see it. So I would watch Sidekicks sometimes, and like I would literally like doze off as I'm watching Sidekicks. And Barry is dozing off while watching a Chuck Norris movie. It's just like, okay. And but like I watching it again, I'm like, I don't know, like it's one of those things where it's like you watch something as a kid, you think it's awesome, and then you rewatch it and you're like, I don't really understand why I like this movie so much. Like there are parts that I like, which is really weird, right? So there's most of the stuff I remember from this movie are parts that aren't even significant to the plot whatsoever. Like I barely remember stuff that's important. I remember, like, for example, I remember the scene where the biker gang is planning on ruining the roughing up the restaurant,
Yeah.
And then the guy comes out pretending to be a waiter, and he's like spilling hot tea all over the guy's pants. I remember that scene, and I don't know why, because that's not really important to the movie whatsoever. Like I remember like the guy talking, like saying certain things, like we're gonna renovate the room, we're gonna do it that way, and and I'm like, I remember that, like the tone of voice, like how he looked, like how he was, moving his body when he was speaking. Totally remember that. Like when it comes to like actual plot, like I forgot about the karate tournament. I didn't even know that was even.
And that big guy in that scene was played by Dennis Berkeley, who sadly passed away in 2013.
Okay, so, God damn it! So I remember that scene very well. I remember the teacher like throwing like dough at him, like to make sure to see his reflexes to see if he can catch the dough. Like I remember these like little scenes in the movie that don't seem like they're that important, but I don't remember any of the big shit at all. I don't remember the karate tournament ever happening. I don't even remember him having a bully. Like in my mind, I thought this movie was just that a kid who was having like weird daydreams that were partly about his idol, but then like a proto-sexual stuff with his teacher for some reason that they didn't really get into, which I'm kind of glad they didn't. And then he just wanted to learn karate to like for like self-confidence. Like I thought that was the whole movie. I don't remember a bully.
So in your mind, this movie was a movie about a kid who was daydreaming and catching dough in his hands.
Well, learning karate, not just catching dough, but learning karate for not because of a bully. That's the other thing too. They try to make this seem like Karate Kid, but like way more.
Basically, this movie is Karate Kid with it's Karate Kid with yellow-faced Joe Piscopo.
I guess that makes sense now that we know he's an asshole. So I guess he would be doing.
That's actually something I don't think you can blame on him. It's the movie.
That was probably something from the movie. Yeah, I know. Yellow face. Oh God.
I mean, I know it's a dream, and he's trying to place this villain in his real life into the villain in the movie that he's imagining. But yeah.
So Barry's having racist daydreams now, also somewhat sexual about his teacher always being tied up and held. Who's also Asian. So does he got like an Asian thing, but he's also racist at the same time? Is that what's going on, Barry? Maybe we need to look into that. Maybe see a therapist about that. No, I don't know. And the other thing too, that he got a crush on an Asian girl. I'm like, okay, all right, what's going on here? Like Winnie from Wonder Youth, by the way.
She's. I don't believe she's Asian at all.
Oh, okay. I thought she was. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
She does have a slight Asian look, but Danica McKellar, I don't think is. I'm pretty sure she's Irish.
Okay.
So.
Well, I don't know. She looked. I don't know. But like, anyway, just
she filmed a movie down the street from me recently.
What's that?
She was in a movie that was filming a scene down the street from me recently.
What's it called? What's the movie?
It's some like Hallmark Christmas movie. I don't know what it is, but most of it was filmed like in some other city. But for some odd reason, during the like snowy time, and it wasn't even really snowy, but like during the time after we had our like Christmas lights and stuff up downtown, she was filming a scene there. I didn't know about it until after it was filmed. But like a bunch of the local businesses that were near there, like, posted pictures of her. Okay. And I'm like, shit, why didn't I know about this? I would have walked down there because it was literally like a 10-minute walk from my apartment. So it was like,
yeah, you're right. I don't know why I thought she was Asian. I mean, it says she's part Spanish, but that's not Asian. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Well, I will give you that though. She does have kind of an Asian look. So
I just always thought that she was. That's all. Yeah. And, it's okay. I guess I'll take that point away from Barry. The teacher stuff still stands, dude. So.
I've always kind of like looked into her because she was one of my first crushes as a kid. So
really?
Because like the Wonder Years was.
I watched the Wonder Years. Yeah, I don't. I think that's another show I don't remember too much about. But
that show, when I rewatch stuff, it doesn't really hold up as much as I liked it to.
Yeah.
But plus the whole Fred Savage of it all. So
and also the song, because they had to change the song because of the whole rights thing or whatever.
Yeah,
that ruins a show because when you expect a certain song, it builds. It's like introducing you to the show.
They changed a bunch of the other songs in it, just like they did with great stuff. So
it's not like it's a small deal. Like it does matter to like the mood.
Nobody ever thought that things would be streaming or on DVD.
No, that's not anything that they're their fault. No,
so,
they didn't.
So anyways, this movie. What would you guess is the Rotten Tomato score for this?
Oh, I don't know. I'm going like maybe like 2 out of 10. Do they go up to 10 or 5?
No, they do percentages. 1 to 100.
15% maybe.
It's actually 26. It surprised me. That's the reviewer out of 19 reviews, and then there's over 5,000 viewer reviews, and it's got a 49% on fan reviews. So
cool.
Yeah.
49%.
Yeah, me too. I was surprised by all that. I thought I'd look it up. It's
odd.
But yeah, it's basically Karate Kid.
I mean, that's literally the plot. It's you got the mystical Asian guy who teaches the white kid karate through unconventional means.
Yeah, you always have the magical Asian or Asian guy. It's kind of like the magical N-word. Not necessarily N-word, but
I do kind of like how we. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know exactly. I know what you're gonna say. I know what you mean. Like the Will Smith of it all, like with the what was it, Bagger Vance or something like that. Yeah, I do kind of like how they went about it though, because like they were almost kind of like winking at the fact that it was kind of racist. Because at one point, like the guy, he kind of like allows the people to like believe in the stereotypes so that he can like use that against them, basically. So like the guy at the airport was like, mad about some guy smoking or whatever, and so he's like, "Oh, I'll ask the other C word, not the C word as in
the bad word.
The other C word. The thing in the armor, a blank in the armor, that C word, and he like takes a cigar and makes it seem like it's gum, then he puts it in the guy's pocket, shit like that. So I kind of do like that, even as they were doing like the mystical Asian dude, that he was still kind of having fun at like basically making fun of white people. So I guess there was like a little bit of, justice there.
Yeah, I mean, it's always cool. I mean, Mako was a great actor.
Yeah,
who played the guy. I mean, he acted all. I mean, he died the same year as Jonathan Brandis.
Really?
Yeah. He was 72 when he passed away, but he was like he had an amazing life. He like grew up in. He was born and raised in Kobe, Japan, Kobe City. He moved to the United States after the Second World War, where his parents had moved to escape political persecution and stuff. So it's just like he had an interesting life, prior to this. So but he went on to like do voice work on like Avatar: The Last Airbender and stuff. So he started acting when he was in 1959 up until 2006 he was acting.
That was not a great time for Asians to be acting either.
He did have a role in Bulletproof Monk, which we covered previously. So yes,
interesting.
Yeah, okay. He was in that movie. He was Mr. Kojima, which I think was one of the I don't know, he was somebody. He was.
Was he the one to own the movie theater that he was living above?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, I think that's who the character was.
Okay,
yeah. Cool. So yeah, we've got a connection there to a previous episode. But yeah, what do you want to talk about from this movie? Because I don't want to go through the.
I don't want to go through the whole plot either. I don't know, just like maybe just like how it was made, or just like some trivia. We can get into the plot a little bit. I personally want to fixate though a little bit on the specifically the sexual stuff with him and his teacher. I need to know why they decided on doing that so often. Because at one point she's like moaning and shit when she's like, I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Like, you're an actress who's agreeing to do this, but you're part of like, I guess maybe a junior high, maybe freshman high school, who's quote not having a fantasy, but it just always so happens to be her tied up and bound and not wearing like a lot of clothes. I'm not saying she's like wearing skimpy stuff, but she's not exactly like wearing like a suit and tie either. And then always needs him to save her. Not Chuck. It's always him that saved her. That's weird. They're like, no, they don't go. See, I personally want a whole movie, like him going to a psychologist's office and just talking to him about all of his daydreams and why his teacher is so prevalent in them. And
Or maybe there should have been a scene between him and Chuck Norris where Chuck Norris is like, So tell me about these dreams you've had. And it's
Yeah,
like,
he's
well,
like, dude, like, why are you having so many dreams?
and Frank is like, come on, dude, why are you dreaming about your teacher?
It's like, come on, man. Yeah, that's the other thing I want to talk about. So yeah, obviously we got the weird stuff, but that definitely requires at least a few therapy appointments, 2-hour-long sessions, maybe back to back, but twice a week or so. But other than that part, which I very fascinated in why they thought that was a good idea. But the other part is how they're like acting like this is Barry's fault. Like it's like, dude, okay, obviously he's got something going on. I don't remember a single mention of him going to therapy or even a suggestion of him going to see a therapist about his constant daydreams and
on top of that, they make it seem like he can cure himself from asthma.
That was another weird thing. Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, just exercise more and run and shit, and then you won't have asthma anymore.
I don't know if that's how that works. I don't have asthma, so I don't know. But
build up your strength for sure, but that's not going to make you not have asthma. Like that's, I'm pretty sure that's not how it works.
And the guy's literally telling him. The guy's literally telling him, I need you to start walking to school every day and then eventually running to school.
After 1 week, I'm like, okay, that's a little bit. Are you really 1 week of walking? Then, I would say 2 weeks of walking. Like jog.
Tell this asthmatic kid to run to school.
I see walk 2 weeks at a slow pace.
Yeah.
Like jog for another 2 weeks, then run not all the way, part way. And then maybe by the end of the school year, maybe ever so slightly, you might be able to run the entire way. That's the responsible thing to do. But Mr. I own a restaurant and act weird all the time guy, who's the uncle of his teacher that he has a weird erotic thing going on with. That's the other thing too. So my theory is, my headcanon here is that this was all an elaborate scheme to get closer to his teacher, right? So he's like, oh, I'll work at her uncle's restaurant. I'll pretend to want to learn karate so that, she'll show up here and there because she's like visiting her uncle and maybe she'll see me do a few cool moves. And maybe that will get her all riled up or whatever. And then eventually at some point I could really impress her. And then finally I can fulfill my fantasy of having her tied up with a weird guy. He's trying to take her.
The other thing about his teacher too is that they kind of set up this possible relationship between his dad and her, but it doesn't.
That never goes anywhere.
It doesn't really pay off. There are so many uncooked, basically raw story points here that never are fully cooked. It's like, what the hell?
And so the end, speaking of that, the ending part is what got me too. So the dude, I forgot what's the guy's name who owns the restaurant. Her uncle, I forgot his name. What's his name?
The character's name is Mr. Lee.
So Mr. Lee, he's like, they're at the tournament at the end of the movie, which again, I forgot that this movie even had a tournament. And he's like, okay, I did my part. I got to go back to the restaurant. I'll be back around 2:00. Everything's good, right? Like, okay. He's like a half hour late. Maybe there's a lot of customers. He couldn't get out at 2. Fine. Yeah. He gets there. He does his thing again. He encourages Barry. Everything's great. Barry wins, blah, 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 blah. He now is probably dating the girl that he liked, who's now thankfully replacing the fixation he has on his much older teacher. That's nice
that off either.
What's that?
At the end of the movie, they should have paid that off. I wanted to see maybe her kiss him or something at the end of the movie.
Yeah, not that. And also, they didn't pay off the fact that it's at the end of the movie. That's what confused me. So at the end of the movie, he's sitting on the bench outside of the tournament, and he's talking to Chuck. So I forgot to say, so at one point, Chuck Norris just happens to show up at this local high school karate tournament for some reason. I guess he loves karate that much, right?
It's not necessarily a high school thing because there's, people of all ages in it. It's
well, still, it's not like it's a major,
It might be. Who knows? Because it's a Texas, it could have been a big thing. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. But he shows up and then they need 4 people on the team. And so, Mr. Lee, this goes back into what I don't know. I think I'm personally fixated on the teacher. So I'm just projecting that onto Barry. So I can keep talking about her because she's so beautiful. Anyway, so he's like, ask Chuck to join our team, and he goes, ask well, and then she's like, getting I'm like, oh God, was she basically putting the moves on him, flirting with them to get Chuck? That's why I'm starting to wonder, is that why he sent her? Because why didn't he go himself? Why didn't he he's supposed to be the charming Mr. Lee. He owns a restaurant. He knows how to work with the public, etc. He knows that. Why is he sending his niece, who's a teacher, who has no history of acting or performing or whatnot, to go talk to Chuck Norris? By the way, but at this time, Chuck Mania was all over the place. It was Chuckers. there was Chuckers all over the place. 92. Okay, for those who don't know, like Chuck Mania was a real thing. Like, I mean, that's why this movie exists.
Yeah, I remember in 1992 I had Chuck Mania, and I went to the doctor and they gave me this new medicine that got rid of it.
Good. Maybe you took too much because then he died last time. Oh, sorry, that's me.
I took it, and then eventually, it made me start to like musical theater.
Yeah. So Chuck Mania was a real thing at this time. This was before Walker, Texas Ranger. That came out about 93, 94. So about 2 years after this movie came out, that's when Walker, his big TV hit that lasted for like, I don't know how many years, a lot of seasons. But at this point, this is like peak Chuck Norris, like, and so he's talking. Sorry, I'm like, I don't know why I'm coughing.
Yeah,
he's talking to him at the end of the movie, and then he leaves his magazine, which is like Chuck Norris is on the cover because it's like a karate magazine or whatever. And then he looks back, and then Chuck Norris is gone, like just completely gone. So did Chuck Norris just run off, or was he imagining this thing the whole time? And he walks off. His dad, teacher, and what's her name? His new girlfriend. But the uncle's gone. He's not even there anymore. So did he go back to the restaurant? Nobody said anything. Is that what's going on here?
I mean, you're
imagination too. Like,
that was the other thing too. Is you had like in Karate Kid, you had Miyagi and Daniel-san as this like kind of duo, and you have this kind of like payoff where like they become like a father and son sort of deal. Where in this movie you already have a dad, and then you throw in this other mentor type character of Mr. Lee. You also have this teacher that cares about him. This guy has too many people caring about him.
Yeah, that's not good.
Then you throw in Chuck Norris, who cares about him.
You throw in Chuck Norris, who just shows up at the very end of the movie and is like, hey, I'll join your karate dojo.
And then you pay it off at the end with a scene between him and Chuck Norris, when you should have paid it off with a scene between him and Mr. Lee, or him and his dad.
Yeah.
That would have been
his dad, or Mr. Lee and his teacher, which hopefully at this point he stopped fixating on her. That's becoming the problem. But that's the thing too, because like that's the other thing. This kid obviously has a problem. Like again, he's got the fixation going on. He's got these daydreams, but his daydreams are increasingly get more and more bizarre. And again, no therapy appointments are made. No suggestion of therapy even being an option. I know it's 1992, but like, come on, if someone's having this many daydreams on a daily basis, and it's actually affecting how they live, their daily lives. Because again, we're not talking about someone who dozes off in class and has a dream. We're talking about someone who is consciously awake and is doing these things multiple times a day. So the daydreams get more and more bizarre. The most bizarre one for me, and I might be reading way too much into this for humor's sake or pseudo humor's sake, what I think is funny, probably is not funny to anyone else, but I think is humorous, is one daydream, finally the teacher is replaced with, his age-appropriate girl that he likes, instead of fantasizing about his teacher being tied. Now she has a fantasy of someone his own age being, anyway, that's weird. That's actually weird to really think about. But anyway, so in that dream, he's the one that saves, what's her name again? I forgot her name in the story. Is it Lauren? Is it Lauren?
The girlfriend.
Yeah, what's her name? Lauren.
Lauren. Yeah, you were right.
Okay, yeah, there you go. So he's the one that saves Lauren, just like he always saves his teacher. He's the one that has to be the hero. Which again, why are you a sidekick if you're the one that's always saving the day? That's a weird thing. But anyway, so he saves Lauren in the dream. Chuck is like, hey, whatever. And then like Barry's like becoming more like independent, like even within his own daydreams. And then for like a split second, Chuck feels like somewhat like offended, not offended, but like, oh no, he doesn't need me anymore. But this is a daydream that Barry himself is having. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, wait a minute.
And you bring up the point too that, okay, in his own dreams, he's the sidekick.
Right. Exactly. Why would you want?
Like when I was a kid and I had like daydreams, I would be like, you know what? I'm going to be the pitcher for the Detroit Tigers. You know, I wasn't like, I'm going to be the bat boy for the Detroit Tigers and watch the pitcher pitch.
It reminds me of the episode of Scrubs where JD imagines himself as Robin and Turk as Batman.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, why would you become the, why would I become a sidekick in my own fantasy? And then Turk's like, it could be worse. You could be Alfred the butler. And then he turns into Alfred. He's like, damn you, sir.
The new Scrubs is amazing, by the way, too.
I don't remember the first episode. I got
it's just like the old Scrubs. I mean, you don't have the same characters fully, but it's like so dead on. It's better than the last season of the original run.
Absolutely, the last season.
Yeah. But yeah,
I don't think you take away that season. That's not canon, right? Is that not right? They're not canon?
It can't be canon because in that series, in that last season of Scrubs, they said that Sacred Heart was torn down, but now it's back.
Okay.
And it's
good. So that's like its own multiversal thing right there.
Yeah, they had to. It's cool though. They filmed because like Sacred Heart was a real hospital that they filmed at.
Yeah,
and that got torn down in real life. So they had to rebuild it on sound stages in Vancouver when they were filming this new series. So they built the outside of part of it too and everything. So it's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
I want to do that. I'm going to build my own Sacred Heart.
Build your own hospital. Okay.
Do you want to help me?
Yeah. What was that? I was watching, speaking of hospitals, I know I'm like just going all over the place here, but I think we don't have much to say anymore about the actual movie. Yeah. But so I was watching John Oliver and he did a whole thing about Viktor Orban from Hungary.
Oh, yeah.
Like a 28-minute long breakdown of him. At one point, he said that the hospitals were like running out of basic supplies like toilet paper and stuff. And then like the guy from the government was like, it's like mathematically impossible to expect that like every hospital should be fully stocked on toilet paper. What?
Also, it was interesting that in that episode, Rob Schneider, who we talked about earlier, was one of the guys.
Which is weird. So that's the thing. Rob Schneider is the piece of shit. Without Ed and Sandler, this guy would not have a career outside of like SNL. Yeah. He had like one good scene, and that's he had like one somewhat funny character on SNL like 40 years ago. That was pretty much his whole thing. But like,
I don't understand. Like, 'cause there's so many people from Saturday Night Live that were once pretty liberal or leftist who completely flipped. Like you have like Dennis Miller and Victoria Jackson and Rob Schneider and what's his face, Jim Brewer and stuff like that. It's just crazy.
Dennis Miller, I don't know if he's telling the truth or not because who knows that guy. Yeah. He claims, or he did claim at one point, like back in the early 2000s, that he was always conservative. He just like knew that he had to be a liberal in order to, which again plays into the whole liberal. I gotta protect it here. I'm being persecuted for my beliefs, type of thing. So that he had to pretend when he was doing Weekend Update or whatever to be more on the liberal side. Doesn't really matter. I mean, who cares? Like, I mean, Lorne Michaels for a while, wasn't he Republican for a while? I mean, like,
might have been. It's. I will tell you, our friend Joe Piscopo was on the show with my Facebook friend Gary Kroger.
Okay.
Who is very, very liberal and ran for office and stuff like that. And it writes political commentary and stuff for newspapers and stuff now. So, at least we got that going on.
Yeah.
Gary seems like a good guy. So.
Yeah, so like Rob Schneider is very much like the character of the villain of Stone, like Mr.
Yes,
Stone.
Kelly Stone.
Yeah, Kelly. See, his name was Kelly. Not that's
so,
kind of saying that.
So, do you want to make a little bit of trivia here from this movie?
Yeah, listen a second though. I'm sorry, I'm on the Viktor Orban thing really quick. So Rob Schneider, I'm sorry, getting political, guys. You can skip this part, but like, he's like all about liberty and like we need to go back to a true American values. We had free speech and people can say what they want and it's like, by the way, I support Viktor Orban, who is a literal dictator in Hungary.
And he thinks everybody at the age of 18 needs to serve two mandatory years in the military. So yeah,
freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
That's the way it is. Freedom isn't free. Anyways, so
by definition, it is. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose.
Yes. Anyway, sorry guys, I'm done with the political stuff.
So here's a little bit of trivia, really quick. Okay, the film was the brainchild of James Mackingvale, aka Mattress Mac. I just thought that was funny. A well-known furniture outlet owner in Houston, in partnership with Chuck Norris and his "Kick Drugs Out of School" campaign.
Oh my God!
He produced and invested $8 million into this movie. Norris starred in many commercials with him. In Mackingvale's book, Always Think Big, he states that going into film and producing was extremely hard work. This is the only film he produced.
Honestly, that's not that bad of
no, but I'm just saying
only film. Like,
he's talking about how hard it was extremely hard work going into film, but the way he sounds like yes, I spent 20 years producing movies. He produced one movie.
Well, probably was so hard on him that he's like, let's go back to selling mattresses.
His IMDb is interesting too, because he's got 4 credits or something, and so he's got this as a producer. He's got 2 episodes of WWE Raw where he lists him. He had to have added this himself as an audience member.
Right.
You don't get credit for being an
audience. You get credit for being an audience member.
And then
unless it's like an extra or something like that, but
then he was interviewed on an episode of Fox News Live, and then an episode of some talk show called Deborah Duncan. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's cool. Whatever. I mean, the guy seems like he's successful in furniture. Malia Bernal, who plays the women's champion from the Stone Dojo, is the mother of martial artist Mark Dacascos. Chuck Norris had been impressed by The Karate Kid. When this film went from Canon Films to Vision International, Norris agreed to stay on if it was a family-friendly film with a moral theme.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to figure out what the moral theme was, but
right.
That you shouldn't daydream. I don't know what the. Don't have dreams, kids.
Don't have dreams, especially about your teacher. Don't have too many days. That's the problem about this movie. Okay, again, Barry obviously had some kind of problem.
Yeah,
where he's daydreaming too much, and instead of just quit daydreaming, Barry. Oh, okay, that's not. I mean, telling someone just to stop something. It's not. I mean, that's not a thing. Even the teacher at first, maybe that's why he was having so many dreams of her being tied up, because she was kind of mean to him a little bit. Not really mean, but stern. Yeah. So he's like, "Fuck you! I'm not going to have a daydream of you being tied up while a guy in yellow face tries to kill you."
Yes,
that was.
I mean, basically, the moral of the film is don't daydream and run to cure your asthma.
Yes. To be fair, though, that is still building up tolerance to your head. Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's not like it's a bad thing to do that. You know what I mean?
The inhaler he was using was actually, he was using it like it was one of those use as needed sort of inhalers.
Oh, okay.
But it was actually one of those inhalers that you're supposed to only do once a week.
Yeah, you're not. It's actually can hurt you to do that stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, usually, people that have asthma have those smaller ones that you carry with you, or if you're having an outbreak or whatever, you use it. But the one that the one they used was the wrong one.
So what was doing that once a week? What is that supposed to do? Why do you only have to do it once a week?
I guess it's some kind of medicine in it that when you inhale it, it helps your lungs or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. So, but I get 2 different kinds. So yeah, okay. I just read that on a trivia thing. So
that's fine. It makes sense.
Yeah. There's no other real good trivia.
This movie was made.
Yes.
It was, like I said too, there were scenes that I Like I remember the very beginning
it's
scene,
actually-
they're like chained together.
So it's the inhaler that Barry uses is a one-time daily use inhaler, not a use on demand type inhaler. That's what it's yeah. But anyways, their team was called the Frying Dragon, by the way. It was,
Right, named after the restaurant, right?
Yes. So
That Mr. Lee owns or now is working at.
I'm thinking of designing some Frying Dragon t-shirts.
Do it. Just make sure you don't put the guy in yellow face on the shirt. Don't do that, okay?
That'll be our other t-shirt. It'll just be guy in yellow face, and then it'll be Piscopo on it.
No. Oh my god!
Everybody wants their own guy in yellow face t-shirt.
No, we don't.
Don't.
No, we do not want that. No. Oh man, I do like the guy though, Mr. Lee. I thought he was funny.
Mako was good in this.
I do think that he was probably one of the bigger assets to the movie, really acting wise. He kind of had a Mr. Miyagi thing, but since the movie's more silly and comedic, he kind of played up the comedy aspect of it, you know.
And I liked how he did, like, you know, how they had him doing things like creating these like things for Barry to drink and stuff that he's like, I don't know what the hell's in it. Or something.
He just made shit up, probably because he probably did like a placebo thing to make him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I thought that was funny. Anyways, anything else to say about this movie?
No, not really. I'm pretty well spent on this movie.
Me too. Anyways, folks, thanks for listening to this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. You can go to all2reeltoo.com and you can find links to our social media, our TeePublic, or all the places you can listen to us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, give us a 5-star review wherever you can. Give us a thumbs up if you can on the YouTube. And yes, the tubes of you. And, you know, just spread the word about our show. Share it on social media. Follow us wherever you can. Subscribe. Download the episodes. Whatever you got to do, you know. And if you know, go to TeePublic and our Patreon, you know, join Patreon and help support the show. Buy some merch on TeePublic.
Buy some merch.
Yes. Look out for possibly a Frying Dragon team t-shirt. Also, just remember that in these times, the best thing you can do is be different and be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Also, trans lives are human lives.
Mm-hmm.
No human is illegal. Fuck the oligarchy. Fuck ICE. Free Palestine. Just remember that I love you. Barry Wary loves you. Sesame loves you.
I do.
And until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to All2ReelToo podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.
You can't reason with the sun. Trust us, we've tried. This summer, it's time to put that angry ball of fire on mute. Columbia's OmniShade technology is engineered to protect you from the sun's harsh rays that can burn and damage your skin. The sun is relentless, but so is our gear. Level up your summer at Columbia.com to spend more time outside and less time slathering on aloe lotion. You're welcome. Columbia, engineered for whatever.